Hey everybody, it's Brad Reynolds here in beautiful Music City, good old Nashville. Hashtag think Nashville, think Brad. Back with a topic yet again that you probably don't know much about, seller financing in real estate. You see, the real estate market is currently in a Goldilocks zone where both buyers and sellers are kind of angling for who has control. So with that in mind, we thought we'd make a quick video on this subject. Now, you're probably not very familiar with it, and that's why we wanted to make it. So let's hop in. Seller financing, also known as owner financing or purchase money mortgages, are essentially where a seller acts as the bank. You completely cut out the bank, and in most cases, it is not needed. Common forms include land contracts. Now, this is where a buyer makes payments to a seller and they hold the title until they're paid in full. Next, a wraparound mortgage. This is where a buyer makes payments to a seller, higher payments than the seller is actually paying, wrapping around those mortgage payments. Lastly, a hybrid deal where a buyer and a seller negotiate a total purchase price, and most of that is paid via the purchase and sale agreement. You also agree to a small amount post-closing that is to be paid in monthly installments over just a few years with a final payment at the end. Flexibility is the key here for both buyer and seller. From the buyer's perspective, it is much easier to qualify on the whole. You don't have to apply through a bank. You can just go right through the seller, let them take the terms. It's more flexible. You can determine what is the closing date, when do I move in, what's the interest payment, what's the purchase price, when do I pay you a down payment, all of these things. Here in Nashville, in our ever-changing and evolving market, speed, focus, and precision matter, and that is one reason for buyers it just makes sense. Now let's look at the flip side. For sellers, first and foremost, you're going to attract more buyers. Not every buyer fits in that traditional box the bank wants you to fit in. Conversely, you're going to close faster. You don't have to wait 30 days. You could do 20 days or 10 days. And lastly, there's more flexibility. You have the chance to determine your terms, your timeline, all that good stuff. Now, why has this become such an important thing in Nashville? Well, the city is rapidly growing. In some areas, prices have went way up. In other areas, not so much. Take East Nashville or Bellevue or Mount Juliet with an average purchase price of $575,000. This is a great opportunity for maybe a buyer and seller who can't agree on a price to negotiate some seller financing here. With over half of properties in Greater Nashville having a price cut in the last year, with days on market through the roof up to 95 days start to finish in total. With inventory way up, buyers have flexibility to ask for this. So if you haven't thought about it, you ought to call me. I've done a number of these deals and would love to walk you through it. So the upsides seem tremendous. There's great opportunity in it. But like everything in life, there's always potential downsides to look for. Now, if you are a seller, even if someone is not using a bank at all, try to get them pre-approved. Try to make them go through somebody. Because without it, it's kind of hard to do due diligence to understand who they are without something on paper from someone. Now, from a buyer's perspective, conversely, understand who are you working with? Who is the seller? What is your recourse? What does the contract say if you are paying them every month and they're not taking that money and paying the mortgage or paying the difference? If they're just blowing the money, what's your recourse? Now, for a buyer, if you're not pre-approved through a bank, guess what the seller is probably going to ask of you? Most likely a higher interest rate than the market commands. So be prepared to pay more in the form of an interest rate, to pay more in the form of a monthly payment, to pay more in the form of a purchase price. Also, for the seller, if the buyer stops paying you, what is your recourse here? You've got to have a legal framework. You've got to have a valid contract so that if you have to go to small claims court, you can make them understand, here's why they owe me and what it is. Last but not least, have a strong title company helping you with an attorney on staff. The folks I use locally, anyone who's reputable does, because contracts are a lot to work through. And the first thing they teach you in real estate is don't play attorney, but make sure you've got one handy if you need one. So as we wrap up this wonderful video, what's the takeaway here? The takeaway is be open to seller financing if the terms work. For a buyer's perspective, it opens doors. From a seller perspective, speed, flexibility, and potential buyers you may not have been able to sell to before. Let me give you a quick example because everything is good with examples. In the last year, I've dealt with this 2, maybe 3 times. Each time I proposed it to the buyer. The best example I have, a property that we closed at $370,000. About 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago, the property went on the market, went on at $425,000. The seller thought their house was the greatest thing of all time. What seller doesn't? The market quickly showed them after a couple months and a few price cuts, it wasn't what they thought it was. Now, my buyer called me and said, Brad, found a great property. It's asking $380,000, but I'm only pre-approved up to $350,000. I'd really like it. What do we do? First thing I said was, well, they're probably not going to take $350,000. They're just probably not. But let's go and see it. And if we like it, I've got some creative terms. So we went, we saw it, and they loved it. I pitched the idea of creative financing. I said, what if we offer them a total of $370,000? $350,000 will come through the purchase and sale agreement. That's the max the bank is going to lend you. We'll then offer terms for the other $20,000 to be paid in monthly installments over a couple years with a balloon payment at the end. It kind of took a few times convincing, talking through, giving specific examples, but eventually they came around. Then we went to the seller side and made the offer. Again, it took a little while for the seller's agent to convince the seller. Eventually, they relented and agreed. It all worked out. Buyer got the home that they wanted at their price. Seller got the home that they wanted. It eventually got all $370,000. Truly a win-win for everybody. So if you're watching this video, if you're trying to think creatively, creativeness is all I do, whether it's purchase and sale agreements, whether it's seller financing, whether it's 2-1 buy downs, interest rate buy, all these things I do better than 99% of agents. So when you're ready to call to get the best deal possible, you know who to reach out to. Think Nashville, think Brad, thinkbrad.com, Brad at thinkbrad.com, all of the Brads, call me soon. Cheers.